Have you ever felt manipulated, drained, or made to question your own sanity by someone who seemed to thrive on chaos? Toxic people have a way of turning their drama into your burden, leaving you emotionally exhausted and doubting your worth. But here's the truth. Their behavior doesn't define you, and you have the power to break free. In this video, we'll explore 13 clever ways to deal with toxic people using the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. These strategies aren't about tolerating abuse or ignoring the problem. They're about empowering yourself to rise above manipulation and reclaim your peace. The Stoics taught us that while we can't control others, we can control how we respond. By mastering this art, you'll learn how to protect your emotional energy, set firm boundaries, and walk away from situations that no longer serve you with strength and dignity. If you've ever struggled to handle toxic relationships, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, this video is for you. Together, we'll uncover the tools to take back control of your life and become emotionally unshakable. Before we dive in, consider liking this video and subscribing. It's a simple step that helps spread this wisdom to others who need it. Now, let's begin the journey toward emotional freedom and resilience. Number 1. Identify toxic behavior. Let's begin with something fundamental yet often overlooked: identifying toxic behavior. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever felt like nothing you do is ever good enough for someone? Maybe it's a friend, a partner, or even a family member who criticizes every detail of your actions, questions your decisions, and somehow always ends up being the victim. You find yourself apologizing, not because you've done something wrong, but because they've made you feel like you have. This is not normal. It's manipulation in its purest form. Toxic people operate like emotional parasites, draining your energy so subtly that you don't realize it until you're utterly depleted. They use covert tactics, like backhanded compliments or jokes, to chip away at your confidence. Have you heard things like, "Oh, I was just joking," or "Why are you so sensitive?" These aren't harmless remarks. They're calculated attempts to undermine you and question your self-worth. What makes it even trickier is their tendency to play the victim. Toxic individuals excel at flipping situations, making you feel guilty for standing up for yourself. Phrases like, "I can't believe you'd treat me this way," or "After everything I've done for you, this is what I get," are designed to manipulate your emotions, lower your defenses, and keep you in their control. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking free. Emotional abuse isn't just a bad day or a simple misunderstanding. It's a deliberate, repeated attempt to control and demean you. A critical sign is when you find yourself constantly justifying their behavior, either to yourself or others. Healthy relationships don't require you to explain away mistreatment. Toxic ones do. By identifying these behaviors for what they are, you begin to see through their facade. This clarity is the foundation for protecting your peace and reclaiming your emotional freedom. Number 2, understand it's not personal. Here's a perspective that can completely shift the way you handle toxic people. Their behavior is not about you. It never was, and it never will be. While that may sound simple, consider how often you've internalized their words, questioning yourself, and wondering if you truly are the problem. Toxic people excel at making you feel like everything is your fault, but the truth is, their actions are a reflection of their own inner chaos. A toxic person's behavior stems from their insecurities, unresolved pain, or inability to take responsibility for their lives. Think about it. When they're feeling stressed, insecure, or dissatisfied with themselves, who becomes their target? You. Instead of addressing their own issues, they project that negativity onto others. A bad day at work, frustration with their own shortcomings, or dissatisfaction in their life can quickly turn into blame directed at you. They twist situations, making you feel like you're the source of their problems, when in reality, you're simply the easiest outlet for their frustration. This is where Stoicism offers profound clarity. The Stoics taught that while you can't control the actions of others, you can control how you respond. Toxic people thrive on emotional reactions because it reinforces their control. When you recognize that their behavior has nothing to do with you, you take away their power. You let go of the guilt, the self-doubt, and the burden of trying to fix them, because here's the hard truth. You can't fix them. You are not their therapist, their emotional punching bag, or their scapegoat. Their issues are their responsibility, not yours. When they attempt to pull you into their storm of negativity, remind yourself of this Stoic principle. It's not about me. By detaching yourself from their chaos, you regain control over your emotions and your peace. Their turmoil doesn't have to become your burden. Number 3, set clear boundaries. Now that you've identified toxic behavior and accepted that it's not about you, it's time to establish boundaries, firm, non-negotiable ones that protect your peace and well-being. Boundaries aren't just suggestions. They're the lines that define what you will and won't tolerate. Toxic people despise boundaries because they limit their ability to control and manipulate you. Here's the truth. Toxic individuals will always test your limits. It often starts small: constant interruptions, uninvited demands on your time, or guilt-tripping you into doing things you're uncomfortable with. Before you know it, you're sacrificing your energy, mental health, and even your values just to keep the peace. This is precisely why boundaries are essential. Your time and emotional well-being are valuable. You don't owe anyone access to them, and protecting them is not selfish, it's necessary. A key part of setting boundaries is learning to say no without guilt, explanation, or fear of retaliation. Toxic people thrive on dragging you into endless justifications, turning no into a debate about why you're being unfair or uncaring. Here's a Stoic approach. Stop explaining yourself. When someone tries to cross a line, calmly and confidently state, "This is what I need," or "I'm not available for that." That's it. No debate, no elaboration. The simplicity and firmness of your response send a clear message. Your boundaries are not up for negotiation. Over time, toxic individuals will either adjust their behavior or move on to someone who tolerates their games. Either way, you've reclaimed control of your life and safeguarded your peace. Number 4, master the art of non-reaction. This step is a game changer. It's where you reclaim true control. Toxic people thrive on your reactions. They poke, prod, and push your buttons, hoping to provoke anger, frustration, or sadness. Why? Because your emotional response gives them exactly what they want: power over you. But here's the Stoic truth. You don't have to play their game. Stoicism teaches that while we can't control the actions of others, we have complete authority over our own responses. Picture this. You're in the middle of a heated exchange with a toxic person. They're hurling accusations, insults, and blame your way, eagerly waiting for you to explode. Now imagine what happens when you remain calm, unshaken, and composed. By refusing to react, you disrupt their entire strategy. Without your reaction, they lose their hold over you. This doesn't mean it's easy. Toxic people are experts at knowing exactly how to provoke you. But mastering non-reaction is like crafting an impenetrable emotional shield. When you pause, take a breath, and resist the urge to engage, you strengthen that shield. Instead of reacting impulsively, remind yourself that their behavior doesn't define you. Say something neutral like, "I hear you," or "I'll think about it," and disengage from the conversation entirely. Every time you choose not to react, you reclaim your peace and deny them the satisfaction they seek. Non-reaction isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about choosing where to direct your energy. The more you practice, the less their words and actions will affect you, and the more power you hold over your own life. Number 5. Use the grey rock method. Let's explore one of the most practical techniques for handling toxic individuals who thrive on drama, the grey rock method. This strategy is a true game changer, especially when dealing with someone who seeks attention, chaos, and emotional reactions. Toxic people feed on your energy, constantly seeking to pull you into their storm of conflict. So, what's the solution? You become as unremarkable and dull as a grey rock. Imagine this. Every time they try to spark drama, you respond with the most neutral, uninteresting reaction possible. They might expect you to argue, cry, or escalate the situation, but instead, you remain calm, indifferent, and detached. They throw out bait, but you don't bite. You give them no fuel for their fire. Here's why it works. Toxic people are fueled by the energy you provide through emotional reactions. When you engage, you're giving them the control they crave. But when you become a grey rock, emotionless and uninterested, they lose the ability to provoke you. Without drama to feed on, their influence starts to fade. This method isn't about passively tolerating mistreatment. It's about actively choosing not to participate in their chaos. You're setting boundaries by refusing to let them access your emotions. Over time, they'll either adjust their behavior because their tactics no longer work, or seek someone else who will give them the reaction they crave. The next time a toxic person tries to pull you into their world of drama, respond with calm neutrality. Watch how quickly the power dynamic shifts when you refuse to play their game. Number 6. The broken record technique. Toxic people are relentless. They don't take no for an answer, and they'll push, guilt trip, and manipulate until you cave. Sound familiar? Maybe it's a friend who always expects you to rearrange your life for them, or a partner who keeps asking for something you've already refused. These individuals are like emotional bulldozers. They push and push, wearing you down until you eventually give in. That's where the broken record technique comes in. This simple yet powerful strategy allows you to hold your ground without getting pulled into unnecessary arguments or explanations. The idea is straightforward. Instead of engaging in debate or trying to justify your decision, you calmly and consistently repeat your stance like a broken record. Imagine this. Someone asks you to do something unreasonable. Instead of arguing or defending your position, you say, "I'm not comfortable with that." When they push back, you repeat, "I'm not comfortable with that." No anger, no defensiveness, just calm, steady repetition. Over time, they'll either give up or expose their true nature. This approach is particularly effective in close relationships, where toxic individuals often feel entitled to your time, energy, or resources. By refusing to engage in their tactics, you send a clear message. Your boundaries are non-negotiable. The beauty of the broken record technique lies in its simplicity. It doesn't escalate the situation, but it firmly reinforces your limits. Toxic people thrive on breaking you down through persistence, but when you remain unwavering, they lose their power. Protecting your peace doesn't require elaborate explanations. It only requires consistency. Number 7. Limit exposure to toxic people. One of the hardest truths to accept is that some people are simply not good for you. No matter how much you care for them or how long they've been in your life, they bring negativity, drain your energy, and leave you feeling worse every time. Toxic people are like emotional parasites. They thrive on your kindness, attention, and patience. But here's the reality. You don't owe them your time, energy, or peace of mind. Sometimes the most empowering decision is to limit your exposure to these individuals. This doesn't mean you're giving up on them. It means you're choosing to prioritize your well-being. Yes, it's difficult, especially when the toxic person is someone you deeply care about, like a family member or a longtime friend. But protecting your mental health must come first. If someone consistently leaves you feeling small, stressed, or emotionally depleted, creating distance isn't selfish, it's necessary. Limiting exposure doesn't always mean cutting someone off completely. It could mean reducing how often you see them, keeping conversations short, or steering clear of topics that tend to trigger toxic behavior. If it's a co-worker, you might focus on keeping interactions strictly professional. If it's a family member, you could set clear boundaries about when and how you engage with them. This isn't about being rude or dismissive. It's about respecting your own limits. You can be polite and firm while guarding your energy. Your mental health is invaluable, and no one has the right to take that from you. Limiting exposure is an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. It's a way to reclaim your peace while maintaining control over your life. Number 8. Build your support system. One of the most insidious tactics toxic people use is isolating you from others. They chip away at your relationships, undermining your connections with subtle comments or outright manipulation. Over time, you might start to feel like they're the only person you can rely on. They sow doubt in your judgment, weaken your confidence, and distance you from those who genuinely care about you, all to maintain control and keep you trapped in their toxic influence. But here's a powerful truth. You're not alone, and you don't have to face this alone. Building a strong support system is one of the most effective ways to counteract the hold toxic people have over your life. Surround yourself with individuals who genuinely care about your well-being, respect your boundaries, and want to see you grow. Your support system could include close friends, family, or a community of like-minded individuals who uplift you. When you have people in your corner who inspire and empower you, it becomes much harder for toxic individuals to drag you down. These are the people who encourage you to be your best self, offering honest feedback when needed, but always from a place of kindness and support, not judgment or control. The strength of your support system doesn't just protect you, it empowers you. Toxic people thrive on isolating you, but when you're surrounded by people who love and respect you, their grip weakens. They lose the power of isolation because you have a network to lean on, people who remind you of your worth and reinforce your inner strength. Seek out your people, nurture those relationships, and let their positivity and encouragement guide you toward a stronger, more resilient self. Number 9. Prioritize self-care. Toxic people are draining, whether through emotional manipulation, constant criticism, or relentless negativity. They have a way of depleting your energy and leaving you feeling worn out. That's why self-care isn't just a luxury when dealing with toxic individuals. It's a necessity. Think of self-care as your emotional armor, shielding you from the corrosive effects of their behavior. Without it, you risk burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Real self-care goes far beyond surface-level comforts like bubble baths or spa days, though those can be helpful too. It's about making intentional choices that safeguard your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. It's about setting boundaries, saying no without guilt, and carving out the space you need to recharge and reflect. Most importantly, it's about recognizing that your needs matter just as much as, if not more than, the demands of anyone else. Here's the harsh reality. Toxic people will never prioritize your needs. They'll expect you to sacrifice your time, energy, and peace for their benefit. But you don't have to comply. You have every right to put yourself first, to take care of your mental health, and to protect yourself from their negativity. Self-care might mean stepping back from certain social interactions, practicing mindfulness or meditation, or immersing yourself in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. It also means knowing when you've reached your limit. When a toxic person is pushing you too far, it's okay to step away, create distance, and focus on your own healing. Stoicism reminds us of the value of maintaining inner peace, and self-care is the cornerstone of that tranquility. When you prioritize your well-being, toxic people lose their grip on you because you're no longer seeking their validation or approval. Instead, you're grounded in your own strength and resilience. Number 10. Recognize you cannot fix everyone. One of the toughest truths to accept when dealing with toxic people is this: you cannot fix them. It doesn't matter how much you care, how hard you try, or how many sleepless nights you spend trying to understand their behavior. You are not responsible for their healing. Toxic individuals often cling to patterns of manipulation, blame-shifting, and control because it serves their needs, whether that's emotional validation, power, or a distorted sense of control. The more you try to fix them, the deeper you get trapped in their cycle of guilt and obligation. Have you ever given everything to help someone only to feel like your efforts were ignored or unappreciated? Perhaps you've been in a relationship where no matter how much you sacrificed, it was never enough. This is how toxic people keep you hooked. They make you feel responsible for their well-being while refusing to change. Here's the wake-up call. You are not their savior. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, and the actions and choices of others are beyond that. The only person you have power over is yourself. When you stop trying to fix others and instead focus on strengthening your boundaries and responses, you reclaim your energy and freedom. Recognizing this truth is the first step toward breaking their hold and creating space for relationships where you are valued and respected. Number 11. Use cognitive reframing. Here's where a profound mental shift begins. Cognitive reframing. Toxic people have an uncanny ability to make you feel like the villain in their narrative. They manipulate situations, twist facts, and place the blame squarely on you. But here's the truth, it's not about you, it's about them. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control others, we have full control over how we perceive their behavior. This is where cognitive reframing becomes a powerful tool. Imagine someone constantly criticizing you. Instead of internalizing their words, take a step back and reframe the situation. Their criticism isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a mirror of their own insecurities and struggles. By shifting your perspective, you strip their words of power. Toxic behavior becomes easier to see for what it is, a projection of their fears, inadequacies, or need for control. When they try to gaslight you, making you question your reality, cognitive reframing allows you to pause and remind yourself, this isn't about me. This is their issue. The next time a toxic person lashes out, resist the urge to react. Ask yourself, is this truly about me, or is it their own struggle coming to the surface? More often than not, you'll realize it's the latter. This shift in mindset not only protects your peace, but also helps you stay calm in the storm. Number 12. Practice forgiveness for your own peace. This step might feel counterintuitive at first, but stay with me. Forgiveness isn't about letting the toxic person off the hook. It's about liberating yourself. It's not about excusing their behavior or pretending the harm they caused never happened. Instead, it's about releasing the emotional weight of anger, resentment, and bitterness that keeps you tethered to the past. Here's the truth. When you hold on to negativity, you're only hurting yourself. Think about it. While you're replaying the pain of how someone wronged you, they've likely moved on with their life. The anger and resentment you're carrying, it doesn't punish them. It punishes you. You're the one reliving the hurt, stuck in an emotional loop that drains your energy and peace of mind. This is where Stoicism provides profound guidance. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that forgiveness is not for the sake of others, but for our own inner tranquility. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting or condoning someone's toxic behavior. It's about choosing to no longer let their actions control your emotions, happiness, or perspective on life. It's about reclaiming your mental and emotional freedom. Start small. Forgiveness doesn't have to begin with major betrayals or deep wounds. Begin with minor irritations, the rude comment, the dismissive attitude, the slight inconvenience. Notice how much lighter you feel when you let go of these small grievances. Over time, this practice builds emotional resilience, making it easier to address and release even the more significant hurts. Remember, forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's an act of self-care and empowerment. When you let go of resentment, you free up mental space for peace, joy, and personal growth. Toxic people no longer have the privilege of living rent-free in your mind. By forgiving, you're not condoning their behavior. You're evicting them from your thoughts and reclaiming control of your life. Number 13. When to walk away. There comes a point where the strongest, most self-respecting choice you can make is to walk away. It doesn't matter how long you've known someone or how much history you share. If they continually disrespect your boundaries, manipulate your emotions, or drain your energy, it's time to choose yourself. Walking away isn't weakness. It's the ultimate declaration of self-worth. Toxic people will try to convince you that you're the problem, that leaving is abandonment, or that you're giving up too soon. Don't believe it. You've already given enough of yourself to a relationship that only takes without giving back. Imagine being in a toxic dynamic where no effort on your part can fix the damage. The healthiest thing you can do is step away. Walking away is about reclaiming your peace and refusing to let someone else's dysfunction dictate your life. You deserve better. Dealing with toxic people has been one of the hardest challenges I've faced, but also one of the most empowering. There's something profoundly freeing about realizing you have the power to reclaim your peace, no matter what chaos surrounds you. By applying these 13 Stoic-inspired strategies, setting boundaries, practicing non-reaction, forgiving for your own peace, and ultimately walking away when necessary, you can take control of your emotional and mental well-being. Here's what I've learned. You're not responsible for fixing toxic people. That's their journey, not yours. What you are responsible for is your own peace, your own happiness, and your own growth. It took me a while to truly embrace this, but once I did, it changed everything. If this video resonated with you, please like and subscribe to Stoic Lens so we can continue this journey together. I'm passionate about helping others break free from toxic relationships and build stronger, healthier lives. Let's create a community of resilient, empowered individuals who refuse to let negativity define them. Your peace is worth it. You're worth it. Thank you for being here.